Right, you join me today as I attempt to repair this Anbernic RG351P. Now we have a fully working one here, and this one has an issue with the screen. The display is very dim. So we're going to try and use this one to fix this one. Now these are great little gaming devices, but obviously if you can't see the screen, it's a bit difficult to use. So what I'm going to do is I'll get a battery pack in here, and then we'll open this one up and see if we can get it fixed. Right, let's make a start. It seems like the backlight on this one is faulty. So let's get into this one and see if we can see what the problem is. And connectors. We need to get into here. So looks like number of screws. So we'll take these two bits out first, I think. The screen is under here, but I don't think we need to look at it yet. So is it something on this board, or is it the screen itself that's faulty? Let's just have a quick look around here. What's that there? I'm just looking in this area because this is closest to the screen, but is that some damage there? It's a bit of luck, isn't it? So 0.5. So this is a Schottky diode, so possibly 0.5 is too high. But I think this section is the power supply for the screen. Let's get some IPA on that. I wonder if we can look at this one on the other unit and see if it looks the same. Okay, so this is the other one, and it's an SL. So we could replace it. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, nothing. .2 Schottky diode, so that's okay. I think we'll take this one off. We'll put an SL on there, see how it goes. I think what we'll do is we'll put some tape around that speaker port. Now that we've replaced the diode, let's test it. Okay, so I guess we could put a battery on this. We've got to put the screen back on as well. It's a bit tricky. Let's plug this in. So we've got the light and power. Well, I can still see it. Can you see that? It's not any worse, but the backlight's not coming on. Okay, I think then what we have to do is test this screen in here, and then we can rule out whether it's the screen or whether it's something on this board. So I won't take this PCB out, I'll just put the other one on top. So I'll just put this under here, stop anything shorting out. Let's plug in the battery. Okay. We'll plug in the You can see that, but yep, it's the same. So the fault is on this board. I reckon we could start looking in this kind of area, just see if there's anything obvious. Maybe start on this side of the board. I've put a little bit of tape on here so that I know that that's the non-working one. So I think we'll take this board and use this on the working screen and see if that works. And then we can rule out whether it's actually the PCB or the screen itself that's faulty. Yeah, there we go. Right, so we know now that the screen is not the issue, it's actually the PCB. So let's focus our attentions on that. So these are the test points from the screen connector. So what I'll do is I'll check to see if there's any voltages round in this area. So looking at these test points, I can definitely see some kind of voltages here, 15, 20 volts, sometimes a little bit higher, but it does move around an awful lot. So, which I'm wondering why. So if we look at this capacitor here, we've got about 21 there, 24, 25. But on this other side, it's just zero. It's just nothing there, which I don't think is right. So let's have a look at this capacitor in a bit more depth. See if this is shorted. Let's just reflow the solder on there. Now let's see if this is shorted. Yeah, it's not. What value? 20 microfarads. Now if we look at the other one, if we do this, it's shorted. Well, let's take it off and let's see if the short has gone. Okay, let's see if this is still shorted. It's not. It's, yeah. So that capacitor has had it. Let's see if I've got a 20 microfarad capacitor of that size. So we don't have a short anymore there. So good. Right, we just need to put back the fully working one. There. Have we got everything on? Right. And that all seems to work. Let's power this up. We've still got the 4 screws to put in. Yes. Okay, no micro SD card, so that's great. We'll plug it in. I think it's that one, isn't it? It's not flashing, so that's a good start. And then let's push this. Yes! Oh, beauty. So yeah, so it's only 3.6 volts. Ah, magnificent. Okay, so that is the fault. Don't go away yet. Okay, so both of them are put back together again now. So as we can see, both are coming up with system failure. Now that's because the SD card is the wrong card for this device. So I need to build a new, well, 2 new SD cards with this on. And as I understand, you just download the firmware from Anbernic's site and use any USB tool to create the USB card. But as you can see, you can now see this one in all its glory. So really just this diode and that capacitor. I'm not 100% convinced that that diode is faulty, but as you could see, it did seem to have some damage to it. So we may as well just replace it. What I might do is get one of these cards re-imaged, and then we'll test it and just make sure that all the buttons and all that kind of stuff are working. Right, okay, so I've built a card for these. So let's just plug this one in. I think it's power on. There we are. And it goes through all its stuff that it has to do. And there we go. Now this is obviously a blank, so go to the input test. And let's see if I hold this up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That seems to work. And then this side, 2, 3, 4. And I think if you push these two together, and then start, select, or select and start. So that's that one. So let's test this one. I need to move the card over because I've only built one card. So you can just download the firmware off the Anbernic website. And this one will boot up. Right, there we go. Let's do the input test on this one as well. So 1, 2, that's working. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fine. And sound. The volume control works as well. So there we go. All seems to be working. Nice little fix. Glad to get these working. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe if you wish to, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.